Hello everyone, welcome to this Hangout on Air today about Play Store, and I'm very happy to be here. And we asked a colleague in London to join us. She's joining from the Play Store in London. She's head of Play Apps and Games for business development in UK and Nordics, and her name is Tamzin. And you might see her now on the Hangout. Hello, Tamzin. How are you?
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you.
Thanks so much for joining us. Some people already know me. I'm Christian. I'm a promotion specialist for EMEA and the PerformanceX team. And I know that a lot of you on the Hangout, either if you're an agency or a client, you have a lot of questions on Play Store because we receive them quite often. So that's why we kindly invited our colleague Tamzin to join us in this adventure, a week with PerformanceX, 13 Hangouts in 5 days. Kind of a crazy idea, but still happening. So now I will shut up myself and leave to Tamzin. Feel free to share your slide or unshare your slide if you want to show your face. And everyone, thanks for joining. Enjoy. This will last approximately 30 minutes for every other Hangouts. Minutes more, minutes less.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. So give me 1 second. Okay. So as Chris mentioned, my name is Tamzin Taylor, and I look after our apps and games business development for the Nordics and Great Britain. And today I really want to communicate with you and share some of the best practices of how you can find success on Google Play. So as many of you know, Android is incredibly popular, and I can tell you it's been a really rewarding journey to see the platform grow from the early days of 2008, when we launched the original G1, to mere thousands of users at the time. So just 6 short years later, Android is the most popular mobile computing platform in the world, and you know it accounts for 3 out of every 4 smartphones. More recently, we've seen tremendous momentum on tablets as well, and Android is now the most popular tablet OS in the world, accounting for 3 out of every 5 tablets. And it's not only Android that's popular, it's been amazing to see how powerful the platform has become. Over 90% of Android devices now run Android 4.0, and this is growing every day. So it's much easier for developers to build for more modern devices. But the Android opportunity is not just about market share. The aggregate size of the Android device base has grown exponentially in the last few years, and it continues to increase in velocity. This year, Android crossed an amazing threshold with over 1 billion active devices around the world. So this scale is unprecedented. It's a very exciting time. But of course, it's not just a regional story, right? Android is a truly global platform, and the scale of international growth is amazing. We have partnerships across 60 device manufacturers and growing, and Android devices run on 329 different mobile operators around the world. And people are using Android in over 190 different countries around the world. It's quite amazing. And of particularly exciting area where we've been significantly focused recently is emerging markets. Even at the huge scale of Android, can you believe that only 1 in 4 people in the world today own a smartphone? So imagine what's possible if everyone has a smartphone, as ambitious as they are. So our goal really here is to keep bringing the next 5 million people, 5 billion people even, online. And a key effort to do that is Android One. It's an initiative to make high quality smartphones accessible to as many people as possible around the world. It brings high quality hardware tuned for Android to countries like India, Indonesia, and Philippines, which are key growth markets for, I'm sure, yourselves and Google. So it's not just the countries we're expanding to, we're also looking at new opportunities to help our ecosystem partners grow their business. And so starting from phones and tablets, we're now moving into TVs, wearables, cars, and you can see how the Android platform is expanding. And while Android and Play are the platforms that make these devices possible, it's really the content, it's the apps and games that you can build on these to make them worthwhile. I mean, clearly, without the great content, the device is not as great. And there are greenfield opportunities across many new device types. So now's a great time to think about how you can expand your app or build a new one to take advantage of this new wave of devices. And just like phones and tablets, Wear, TV, and Auto will all be defined by what you, as potential app developers, make of the platform. Here on Google Play, we provide a commerce platform for Android. We've also been heavily invested in making a great payments experience globally. And today, 2/3 of Google Play purchases happen outside the United States. And I think that's a definitely interesting stat for me, not being American. And we do see international sales continuing to climb, so we're quite proud of that. And we're hoping to fuel this momentum by making Google Play payments easier and more convenient for people around the world. A few months ago, we launched PayPal support. We now have PayPal live in 12 countries. Carrier billing, which lets people charge their purchases in Google Play directly to their phone bill, continues to be a really popular way to pay. And so we continue to expand our coverage across the telco partners we have and build new ones. Today, we've got direct carrier billing in 25 countries, and almost half of all Google Play users had this option when making purchases. So it's great for countries where there's low credit card penetration. Also, speaking of countries with low credit card penetration, we've also been hard at work launching gift cards around the world. Gift cards are fantastic in cash-based economies, and we now have gift cards for sale in 18 countries around the world. And I'm happy to say that with this investment in platforms and content and billing, the growth in Android and Google Play is paying off for developers. Google Play is a huge opportunity for app developers today. We've paid out more than $7 billion to developers, which we announced recently. So it is a really big and expanding market. So how do you take advantage of it? I'll step you through how you build your app for success, how you can get more installs, convert these into active users, and increase your global sales. So building your app for success. Last year when we launched the Lollipop release, it was one of the largest launches of an OS that we've ever done. It had over 5,000 new APIs, a completely redesigned UI or user interface, enhanced notifications, and more. It's a really great experience, and it brings a lot to the table for developers. So if you haven't gotten across what it brings, then I'd definitely recommend heading to a website called developer.android.com. And I can share those details with Chris after this presentation. So one of the really nice things that we did launch in the Lollipop release was something called material design. What we're trying to here is create a really consistent experience across all your devices, be it web, phone, tablet, and make sure that the application experience the user has flows through across these and feels integrated. So material design defines the characteristics governing how a user interface should feel and move and adapt. We offer developers design patterns for implementing this, and we also bake in good practices for building touch UI. And touch UI means when the user touches the screen, it gives them some kind of visual feedback that they've actually done something and should expect a response. It gives a purposeful use of motion to provide comprehension and really beautiful aesthetics to build a really nice adaptive design. And on the website, again, developer.android.com/design, we've got some great examples you can have a look at. But if you're in doubt, you can check out your Gmail app or YouTube app. They're good examples as well. So another aspect of building for success is making sure that your application is tablet optimized. So as we mentioned, I think it was, Android has the majority of tablet market share in the world, and I think this is only increasing with the increasing variety of devices available. So it's really important that your application works well on the larger screen. So Play Store for tablets, we have a section called Design for Tablets that can tell you how to make sure your app works well on this device. And it really is required for a maximum visibility. There's a lot more real estate to work with. Fragments will help. And what we can do is you can upload your app to the Google Play Developer Console to receive a checklist of what's missing that you need to improve upon for your tablet experience. So have a look at that. One thing I'm really excited about, or two things, is what we've recently launched last year around alpha and beta closed group testing and then staged rollouts. So alpha and beta testing, what is this? We've given our developers the ability to upload the beta or alpha application to the developer console and invite a bunch of users to test the application without it being live to the public. And what this means is that users in the group can play with it and can report bugs, and none of the bad feedback that might be happening is actually going out into the real world to impact your overall rating. I cannot recommend this strongly enough. Your alpha groups probably are best for your own internal company, your friends and family, whereas your beta groups generally have been used by partners to reach out to existing users. I know that one publisher has around 5,000 members in their beta group. You don't need to have 5,000. I think even if you had, say, 800, that would be a fantastic number to have. But what it does, it really helps get people to test your application before it goes live, minimizes the risks of things going wrong. And of course, it's very, very difficult to ensure that you've tested across every single handset. And when you use alpha beta testing, you're basically leveraging your customers to do this on your behalf. Once you're happy that the application's in a good state, to continue the idea of minimizing risk, you can do staged rollouts. What this means is that you don't launch the application at once to everyone immediately. You can say, I want to roll out new application to 10% of my users this week, another 10% next week, and so forth and so on. So if anything does go wrong, you can simply stop the rollout and minimize the impact. Basically, 80,000 apps that use beta testing that we have looked at have an average rating of 4.2 stars. So it really does have a very good impact on quality. And over 1/3 of the top apps use beta testing. It is best practice. It's really easy to use. And if you need more information, again, developer.android.com. So many partners ask me, there are so many things we could do, Tamsin, what should we focus on first? One of the great things about the developer console, and if you're not familiar with the developer console, go and hunt down your technical person and get them to show you, because it's really simple to use, is that we have these optimization tips. You can opt into them and then you can have them emailed to yourself, but essentially it gives you the top things that you should work on first. Things like localize your store listing, design it for your application for tablet, have you considered localizing your graphics for German? And these are all things that will, the system picks up that can really help you improve the quality of your application. So one of the most important things in terms of app development and knowing whether your application is working and how to improve it is using analytics. I cannot stress this enough. Build Google Analytics. It's free. Build it into your application. Even if you use some other different kind of application, analytics application, that's fine, but have some analytics, because knowing how people are using your application is crucial for improvement, and knowing how users are interacting with it, understanding what your churn is, understanding the impact of your campaigns to drive more installs and engagement, it is really critical. So it's very easy to set up the free version. And again, developer.android.com. I could talk about analytics for years, but I will keep going in the interest of time. So how do you get more installs? I get this question quite a lot. There are some basic tools that you can use to increase your installations of your application. So the first way is to communicate the value in your store listing page. Now, of course, you can highlight the ratings and your friends' recommendations. You can use high-res graphics and videos within the description, and you can do quick summary text of what the application does. I would also recommend using our latest feature, which is A/B store listing testing, where through the developer console, you can test different versions of your store listing to see what better with users. You can test different graphic creative, you can test different text, all to see how you can optimize the conversion once people land on your page store listing to installation. User opinions have a massive impact on installs. If I see an application with 4.3 stars compared to one that has 1.7, I can almost guarantee I install the 4.3 rated application. It really does, as any rating system will do, it really helps users compare between applications. And I can't stress this highly enough. There are many, many things you can do to increase your app ratings, but quality is definitely one of them. Users will leave comments in the developer console, or when they leave a star rating. You have the ability to respond to them. So please do. Just even understanding or directing people to an off-site CRM system, or asking them to email their feedback to your corporate email address or one that you've set up for customer service is a really good way to continue the conversation and find out why people are having troubles, or thank them for their feedback. Some customers have been known, once you figure out their problem and answer their issue, to change their rating to a more positive star rating. So it is really worthwhile to pay attention to your ratings. Other publishers and app developers have actually installed notifications or pop-ups within the app saying, hey, would you please rate our application? This is another great way to increase the number of ratings that you have. One of my partners even says a pop-up saying, do you like the application? And if the user says yes, then the application says, would you like to rate us in the Play Store? If the user says no, then they're pushed towards a form to give their negative feedback, so they don't actually leave a bad rating on the Play Store. So there are tricks and ways you can get around negative reviews, and also ways to get more positive reviews. So once you've published your app, you obviously want to publicize it on your website, your marketing material, your campaigns, your social media channels, etc. Remember to use the official Google Play badge when you do that. And again, developer.android.com has downloadable and customizable badges which you can include on your website. Users are 47% more likely to trust and download your app when they see this badge. Another way to increase installs is to use sign in with Google and over-the-air installs. Some developers we've worked with have seen a 40% app install acceptance rate when using this method. So if you have a web service that accompanies your mobile app, or users use your service across web and mobile, let's say you have a website with login, sign-in details and a mobile app, then it's a really good idea to consider using Google Sign-In on your website. And that way you can track your users across the different platforms, website and mobile. Once a user is signed in on the website, it automatically signs in on the app. So it's again cutting down the work that the user needs to do. Generally, when I speak to developers about promoting their app, the first solution that jumps to my mind is in-app promotion. But app discovery is more than just in-app promotion. So every day our advertising solutions are becoming smarter and more effective. And we currently have the ability to advertise on 3 great platforms. We know that, 1 billion plus users and 2 billion video hours are watched on the YouTube mobile every month. This is incredible, right? And there are 100 billion searches per month on google.com. And through AdMob, we can reach 900 million unique devices per month. So given these choices, the first step is to choose the right campaign type to advertise your app. So before you create your campaign, think about what your advertising goals are. Will you find your consumers? Are you interested in getting people to download your app? And what about encouraging them to open the app and take action? All of these goals will I guess, mediate which platform is best for you to advertise in. So once you've got the installs, how do you convert them to active users? So apps shouldn't be just dumb destinations, but they should really be smart companions. I mean, I don't know about you, but I open Facebook many, many times per day. My Gmail app is constantly open. My calendar app is constantly open. I really rely on it. In fact, the other day I was at the cinema in a new location and my phone battery died, and without Google Maps I really had no idea how to get home. Luckily someone else had a phone I could use. So installing an app shouldn't be the same as bookmarking a destination on your homepage screen. It should be more than that. It should mean you're empowering the user to do more with the device. And it shouldn't just be a one-size-fits-all experience for whoever lands on it, but really a personalised and context-aware experience. The app shouldn't just react to users' proactive interests, but it should anticipate their needs and become available then. So in the end, when relevant, users should be able to open the app without opening it, if that makes sense. So let's start with intents. If you've used Android before, you'll have seen intents in action. When you click on a link or take action, Android sometimes gives you an option of which app to use to complete the action with. That's intents. So let's say I was testing some different browsers the other day, and I have installed on my phone Opera browser, Dolphin browser, and Chrome browser. And when I went to open a link in an email, I was prompted to choose which browser would I like to use to open. Obviously I use Chrome, but that's an example of an intent. So the user doesn't even have to open your app proactively, or even remember that the app is installed on the device. The user will then be able to use your option for this instance only, or to set it as default. So this way we say intents are the glue between application components. Okay, so far I've talked about intercepting user needs through intents without them requiring to open the app. Quite a proactive approach, but you can do more than that. So you can actually anticipate user preference and needs inside and outside the app without them even starting an action. In order to do this, you need to know your users, and there are two sets of information equally important that you need to capture. Their identity, basically, their user preferences and history, and their context. The context will mainly come from the device sensors, and it's a combination of information such as screen size, time, location, movement, so am I running, sitting, walking. So personalizing your app means building a tailored experience for each user and for each context that the user is in. The more granular you can get, the more effective your app will be at anticipating user needs and ultimately at driving engagement, which is what keeps people coming back to your application and spending more time in it. But honestly, to get the most of this information, you need users to log in, and we touched on sign in earlier. Here's a bit more of a graphic example of what sign in looks like on the Guardian. So I'm sure some of you have been through the really painful process of trying to register for a website on the mobile phone with all these really small, entry fields, and you can't scroll down, and it's asking you for a million bits of content. So I think what we all recognize is that logging in is really painful on a small device, more so than PC. Users don't have a real keyboard, and this all slows down the experience and when they just want to get to your content. Therefore, it's really critical to make sign-in as seamless as possible. To achieve that, you should integrate as many top third-party sign-in services as possible together with yours. So you can see in the image here, we've got sign in with Google+, sign in with Facebook, sign in with Twitter, or sign in with The Guardian. Or if you need a new account, you can set up a new Guardian account. So it's giving you all the different options plus their own. They're doing a great job, and actually 41% of logins come from their Google sign-in option. And it is actually one of the most popular sign-in methods on Android, if not the most popular, like in this case. And that's because every Android user is already signed into the device and into the Play Store through their Google account. So sign-in is super easy and doesn't require any input. The other thing I should note about sign-in is that it gives you great user information, including the email address, the age, demographic, and the user's circle of friends. So you do get important information about the user, which you can then use to customize your app experience and learn more about the user and more about how they're interacting with your application. Rich notifications. So this is another really exciting area. More than just messages, they're an extension of the app interface. So if you can see some of the examples here where you can actually have an image, you can have big text style, you can have actions within your notification and a custom layout. Again, if you want a good example, I would say download the Guardian application and sign up to their notifications. They've got great breaking news notifications with real rich actions, including the share function or the save later function, as well as open now. So with the introduction of Where, notifications are even more powerful. Every notification that's sent to the user can also show up on the Where device, and the notification can and should be optimized for that screen. Different actions can also be added to the notification just for Where, so you can have one experience on the phone and a different experience on the Where device. One caveat, notifications are powerful, but with power comes great responsibility, of course. If you spam your users with unwanted notifications, they will probably turn them off, or worse, uninstall the app. And I test a lot of apps, and I can tell you that I had one application that sent me 26 notifications in the space of an hour. I did uninstall the application. So be really conscious about how you use this. So speaking more about app engagement campaigns on the display network can be used to encourage your app's current users to open your app and do something specific. So let's say I'm looking for great last-minute hotel deals and I already have the application on my phone, then I can simply open the app from the search results. And app engagement campaigns also work on the search network, where your ads can encourage the app's current users, again, to open the app and do something related to what they were searching for. So how do you relate a search query to content within your app? So now on to increasing your global sales on Google Play. Now, unfortunately, because I can't see any of you, I can't ask you whether you're targeting local or international audiences, but well, I hope you're going for the latter. So as we mentioned earlier, you can distribute your application over 190 countries worldwide. There are 130 countries where you can sell your applications, and 65 where you can tailor your pricing. And unlike the Apple Store pricing, the Android platform lets you actually customize your pricing down to what you prefer. The next step in going global is to really think about the business model for your users. What is the purchasing power parity of the users you're going for? Perhaps in the US, you charge customers 99 cents to download the application. Perhaps in other countries like Mexico or Turkey, you might want to have an ad-funded application. Subscriptions is another business model that you can use. So that would be a recurring monthly fee. In this instance, $4.99 per month for Pandora. The next thing to consider is localizing your listing and your prices. We see 6 times more sales for applications with localized listings than not, and twice the number of sales in Japan for apps with precise local pricing. For example, we know that in Korea, people prefer having whole rounded numbers to the 100th. So it would be 200 Korean won, 400 Korean won. Whereas in Australia, people prefer numbers that end with 99 cents, like .49, .99. And if you have any questions on this, I'm more than happy to answer them after this conference. Direct carrier billing is now available on tablet devices. It didn't used to be, but now it is, which is great because it expands the scope of payment that you can get from your Google Play platform. And of course, apps are designed for tablet and monetize better. We see 10 times the number of application sales for tablets, which are where they're optimized for the device, which we spoke about earlier. So any more questions you have, I encourage you very strongly to visit the following website, developer.android.com/distribute. And that is all. So thank you very much for your time. I hope you took something out of it. And any questions, please feel free to contact Chris. I'm sure he's got feedback for him.
Thank you, Tamzin. Sorry, we were both unmuted, so there was a bit of noise. Hopefully we didn't break ears of everyone, so I now muted yourself. Thanks again. It was very interesting also for me. Have a great lunch, afternoon, evening, whatever is your time, and see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.